Good morning, everybody. It's Mr. Martin here. Today is April the 15th, Wednesday, and we're going to be looking at our grammar passage we started on Monday, which was working to help workers. And we're going to look at questions number 3 and 4 today. So let's go ahead and get our grammar passage out. All right, hopefully you all can see that. So again, for today, we're going to be looking at questions 3 and 4. Before we get into that, we got to make sure we review what type of writing this is, and we're going to review our central idea. So this is a paper that Tony wrote about Cesar Chavez. So it's talking about somebody else's life. It is a biography, a little bit about him. And Tony wants us to revise it for him. So we're doing arms. Adding, removing, moving, or substituting, okay? Central idea was who was Cesar Chavez, what he did in life, and why he was important. That's our central idea. We've already answered 2 questions. Today we're going to be looking at 3 and question number 4. Friday we'll finish the last 2. So let's look at question number 3 first. It says, Tony wants to add a topic sentence to the beginning of the 3rd paragraph, sentences 10 through 16. What is the best topic sentence for the paragraph? So topic sentence is kind of like a central idea for the paragraph. What is that paragraph mostly talking about, right? So our topic sentence, the rest of the paragraph has to flow to connect to that topic sentence. So I'm going to read sentences 10 through 16 and think about which of these sentences can connect best with that so that all the other sentences flow with what this sentence is saying. Okay, so let's go back and look. Sentences 10 through 16. Cesar began a group called the National Farm Workers Association. Cesar got workers to join his group. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages. They did this by refusing to work until they received fair pay. They also asked people not to buy fruits from farms whose owners did not treat workers fairly. Farm owners had to treat their workers better, so they would buy fruits from their farm. Cesar improved farm workers' lives through his group's peaceful actions, okay? So I think this whole section, if I had to think about what this whole section is talking about, what was this whole section discussing? What would be the central idea of this paragraph? Or what is your teach me, I guess, for this paragraph? So I'm just gonna put, I know this is not a close read, but just kind of so we can keep a note. I think the teach me is about Cesar Chavez. I'm gonna do CC, work with the National Farm Workers Association. Okay, Cesar Chavez's work with the National Farm Workers Association. This is what this section is talking about, right? So now I'm going to see which of those sentences can be a topic sentence for this paragraph that discusses something about his work with the Farm Workers Association or him working hard to help an organization, because that's what this whole section is talking about, okay? As an adult, Cesar worked peacefully to help other poor farm workers, okay? Question mark, because he started the Farm Workers Association and it talked about here at the bottom, he improved farm workers' lives through peaceful actions. So I think that could be that could work there. Another person who helped farm workers at this time was Desiree Huerta. So Desiree Huerta was not what the paragraph was mostly talking about. It was talking about Cesar Chavez's work. So I'm gonna cross that one out. Some of the crops Cesar picked included cherries, peas, cotton, and beans. Was this whole paragraph talking about the crops he picked? No. Several places in the United States, from schools to streets, are named after Cesar Chavez. Was this paragraph talking about places that were named after him, or his places that have memorialized him? No. The only correct answer is A. The only correct answer is A. So as always, we're going to put our IKB, I know because, okay? And what is our IKB, or I know because, for this question? How do we know that A is the correct answer? Take about 30 seconds to write your answer, and then I'm going to share mine. All right, so I know because A is the only sentence that discusses his work with farm workers. Okay? RS. So the whole paragraph is talking about his work with farm workers. This is the only one that discusses that. All the other ones, somebody else working with farm workers, crops that he grew, and then streets named after him or places named after him. This is the only one talking about him helping poor farm workers. So that's why that's correct. Let's go to question number 4. What is the best way to combine sentences 12 and 13? Ooh, you know, one of my favorites when I'm combining sentences. So again, when we're combining sentences, we're thinking about how can I make the sentence as clear, concise, and succinct as possible, meaning not repeating words. I'm not making it longer than it needs to be. I'm getting my point across. I'm keeping my swag, starting with a capital, grammar, punctuation, spelling, everything's correct, but I'm just shortening the sentence a little bit so that I'm not repeating myself, right? Also thinking about if there are fanboys in the sentence. For, and, nor, but, or, yet. So if they're fanboys, for, and, no, but, or, yet. So do my fanboys make sense, right? Does it make sense for this sentence? Okay, so let's go back and read sentences 12 and 13 so you can get an idea of what needs to be put together. Together, they forced farm owners to pay, Together, am I reading right? Yes. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages. They did this by refusing to work until they receive fair pay. Okay. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages. They did this by refusing to work until they receive better pay. Okay, so who is they? So they is the National Farm Workers Association. So they forced and so the workers from the association forced the farm owners to pay them better. Okay, the workers did this by not working until they got pay, fair pay. Okay, let's go back and look. And sometimes like what I just did there, if there's a lot of pronouns like they, them, we got to figure out what is the noun, what is the pronoun talking about. So I just went back and figured out, oh, it's talking about the Farm Workers Association, the people that work for that association. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages by refusing to work until they receive fair pay. Okay. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages by refusing to work until they receive fair pay. There's no repeated words there. Okay. Who did it? What did they do? Okay. I think that one could be a contender. Question mark. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages, and they refused to be working until they receive fair pay. So this one, the they, I think is kind of repeated. You see this one, they didn't have to repeat they twice. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages, and they refused to be working until they, that's a lot of theys, right? And it's a bit confusing when you have that many pronouns because who is the they, right? So I think this one, I'm going to take out because of the repeated they. Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages, but they did this by refusing to work until they receive fair pay. Okay, so we still have those 3 theys. But for this one, I see a different problem. Does anybody see the problem with this one? There's something that's used in this one that's not correct. If you said a fanboy, you're correct. The fanboy but right here, right? But we use when we have contradicting things. I'm hungry, but there's no food in the house for me to eat. It's raining, but I forgot my umbrella, right? They force owners to pay better wages, but they did this by refusing to work. These are not opposite, right? They force owners to pay better wages, comma, so they didn't work until they received. That would make sense. But is for like contradicting things, right? If it were to say they worked hard, comma, but they didn't receive any pay, that would make sense because they're working hard, however, they're not receiving. This but doesn't make sense there, okay? Together, they forced farm owners to pay better wages, for they did this by refusing to work until they received fair pay. So first of all, you have these 3 days, unnecessary. For they did this, for they did this, for they did this. That's not an expression that we use in English. The for they did this to, no. So they did this, or they did this to. The for doesn't make sense. So for this one, the only correct answer is F. I know because your IKB. What is your IKB there? What is your I know because? Take about 30 seconds. How do you know sentence F is the correct answer? All right, I put IKB or I know because. F didn't repeat. Extra words. Or use a fanboy incorrectly. Sorry, that's a little bit squished there in the corner. I'll read it out loud to you. So I said, F didn't repeat extra words or use a fanboy incorrectly. So this one used the fanboy incorrectly. This repeated these extra words. And the for they, that expression is really odd. It's not a normal expression that we use in for they did this. So they did this maybe, but not for they did this. So F is the correct answer. These fanboys are weird. This one's repeated too many words. This is the correct answer. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me this morning for our grammar. I hope that you have a wonderful Wednesday. Get outside, move your body around a little bit, and then come back on Friday for us to close out this grammar passage. Also, make sure you're checking out Ms. Schwabrow's videos with our our writing passage for the week, which is really interesting and really cool. So I look forward to seeing you all on Friday. Have a great day.